Hello and welcome to Voice of the Vic podcast from me, Ben Aiton. I am back with a Southampton preview for our upcoming FA Cup fourth round tie at home to Southampton. And obviously happy Emmanuel Dennis Day, everyone, as well. Emmanuel Dennis has returned back to Watford Football Club. He has joined on loan from Nottingham Forest. All of us of the Voice of the Vic put together a little video earlier, and it's live on YouTube now if you want to get all our thoughts onto it. I'm not going to really discuss Emmanuel Dennis too much in this preview because this is a dedicated opposition preview. So if you want to have a look and see what we said about Emmanuel Dennis, just go have a look into our videos and you'll be able to see it on there. But I am not alone this evening. I have got a guest lined up, and it is Ray from In That Number podcast from Southampton. Just adding him in now. Ray, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really do appreciate it. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks. All good, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. It must be pretty decent time, really, to be a Southampton fan. Really, fantastic run of form. I think it's 21 games unbeaten now, 20 in the league. You've set a new club record. How's it been this season under Russell Martin? I know maybe it was a slow start to get maybe his philosophy and style of play across to the players. I think everyone remembers that drubbing you took away to Sunderland.
All right.
It's got better since then, though. What sparked the change since Sunderland away? Was that like the worst of the worst that you've seen from Southampton? And then the comments we've seen from Russell Martin at the weekend, he said that's the best he's ever witnessed as a player or a manager.
Oh, the Swansea game, yeah, that was great. I agree. The first half of that game was fantastic. No, but yeah, as you say, 21 games. It's been incredible. I mean, we don't often, as Saints fans, get to see, a run like this. And yeah, club record. It goes back to like 1920 when we first entered the Football League. We lost at Middlesbrough on the 23rd of September. And that was actually the fourth loss in a row. And we wondered what the hell was going on, because, I mean, we got knocked out of the League Cup by Gillingham as well. And it was just, this was all happening. And we got beat 4-1 at home to Leicester. You mentioned the 5-0 to Sunderland. We got beat by Ipswich as well. So the top two obviously beat us at St Mary's. And then the Middlesbrough game, another terrible one. And then all of a sudden, it's just, I don't know where it's going. You look back at that now, and we are a completely different team. I mean, Russell Martin knows his best 11 now. He seems to have got the team playing together. And yeah, everyone seems like they want to play for him now. So it's just, it's amazing going to St Mary's every week. With complete contrast to last season, obviously.
I can imagine we have a similar feeling amongst our fan base at the moment. The last 2 years were tough being a Watford fans. Probably the two worst seasons we've had, watching us players down tooling, didn't really care, didn't want to be here. But this season, it's complete transformation. The players actually want to play for the shirt. And you must be seeing that with Southampton this season as well. Russell Martin's got a really good blend of experience and youth players, and he's seeming to get the best out of all of them. Now he knows that starting 11.
Yeah, he's definitely done that. I mean, it was obviously at the start of it when he came in. A lot of us were a little bit underwhelmed with the appointment, because, I mean, don't forget we were coming off the back of Ralph left, and then we had Nathan Jones, and I still cringe when I say his name. Ruben Sayers then come in as in a caretaker capacity. He had a couple of good results. They gave him the job permanently, and he was just completely out of his depth and got relegated, obviously. And then, Russell Martin comes in, and you hear from Swansea fans, you hear from MK Dom fans, and they said, look, his style of play is going to be boring. It's going to be slow, and you're going to lack in that final third. And at the start of the season, it seemed exactly like that. He said, we saw that at Vicarage Road, actually, when we played you lot in December, that it was just lots of possession, nothing to show for it. And during that period where we were losing a lot of games, it was that's what it was under him. And then all of a sudden, as I say, it's just clicked, and yeah, everyone wants to play, and the results are just coming thick and fast now. And I can't believe it. 21 games. It's it's amazing. It really is.
You must be You must be one of the most popular teams for teams accumulators at the weekend for football fans up and down the country. Southampton seem to be that banker at the moment. But how impressed have you been of Ross Martin since he's was appointed? Like you say, Swansea fans maybe warned you, saying it might be a bit boring at times. But how impressed have you fans been? Have you taken to him straight away?
No, not at first. To say at first, it was slow going, and then obviously those 4 losses, get beat by Gillingham in the cup, and you just think, my God, it's not the right appointment. He's not the man to take us back to the Premier League, because ultimately that is the goal this season. As soon as we got relegated, the board and everyone said that the main thing is to get back up to the Premier League straight away. We don't want to hang around, and it didn't look like that was going to happen. And we thought Russell Martin. I mean, we probably thought we could do a little bit better. But now, I mean, you can't argue with the results. And yes, there are some games. I mean, even during this unbeaten run, there has been some games where it's been poor, but we've been coming away with draws, like yourself at Vicarage Road. Coventry game. I mean, we scraped one against Preston. We got a 90th minute equaliser, Coventry, all those teams that are sort of like around you in the middle part of the table. It's those ones that are going to, you really, really struggle with. But I think, he's brought in some players that he wants to play the system, and Flynn Downs has been vital to that. And as I say, I think it has taken time, but now all of a sudden it's just all out attack. And and it is. We're getting the goals now as well, because we're starting to score a lot of goals lately, and that's something that we weren't doing at the start. It was slow, it was boring. We probably win by the odd goal, but now we're beating teams 4-0, comfortable, and that's that's unheard of for Saints as well.
Yeah, the results seem quite convincing at the moment from an outsider looking in. I watched the the English Football League show on ITV religiously, and I'm always impressed with your performances and the goals that you score, and you've got a lot of firepower in that team. You said a moment ago, like, obviously a club the size of Southampton, the aim has to be promotion for this season. You can't be sticking around in the Championship for too long. But what is the aim for this season? Is it to just try and get into that top 2 because you don't want to deal with the pressure of the playoffs, because we all know how much of a lottery that can be?
I am, definitely not going to be happy with a playoff spot, because Saints will mess it up. It's going to happen. I won't be able to deal with that. I think it is a goal to get automatic promotion. That's what they need to aim for. I just keep waiting for Ipswich to slip up, but they're not. They just keep on doing so well. And, we go up to second, and then, they obviously, Leicester played Ipswich on Monday night, got a point. We went back down to third again. Just got to keep on their coattail, just keep playing. If we manage to get in those playoffs, then we'll get beat. And I won't be able to deal with that. So, I think the goal is automatic promotion spot, first or second. That will do.
I think with the form on at the moment as well, I think Leicester and Ipswich are really looking behind themselves at the moment as well, because Leicester haven't really impressed me this season. I know they've been at the top of the table for a long time, but their performances haven't really impressed me. They're not like run riot. They're just been grinding out results and getting it when they're have you played them at your place this season?
Yeah, we played them in that mini run, and they beat us 4-1. They scored within the first 30 seconds, and that was it, heads down, and then we got beat 4-1. So but I really, really want to play them now. I fancy taking on Leicester and Ipswich. I really do. I think we could give them a good game, and I think we could beat them. But it's just like we're a different team now.
I've been massively impressed with Ipswich this season as well. It's probably one of the best teams I've seen come to Vicarage Road as well, with the way they press and move the ball about, and they've just got threats all over the pitch, and I've been really impressed with them. So I think they're obviously the dark horse for promotion this season, but I see you getting into that top 2. So it'll be interesting where you do finish, because who knows, you're only 8 points away from Leicester now, and I know there's a long way to go for the end of the season, but I think we just have to watch his space really with Southampton and promotion.
Well, I mean,
sorry.
No, I said with Ipswich that during the tough festive period, they don't have a big enough squad to be able to deal with it. So I thought they'd start falling away, but they still haven't. And they just, I mean, they are doing so well. Nobody expected that. So I would love to see them go up to the Premier League because that would be brilliant. Not at our expense, of course, but if they went in there, took automatic spot and then make Leicester go through the playoffs, that would be nice.
Oh, definitely. I'd love that. Sitting high and mighty all season, then drop down into the playoffs and narrowly miss out. But yeah, we were saying, so on Sunday, you do travel to Vicarage Road for the second time in 2 months. But this time the attention's turned to the FA Cup 4th round. In the last round, you beat Walsall 4-0 at home. Was it as straightforward as the scoreline suggests? I imagine it was.
First half, no. I think we were 1-0 up at half time. Second half, we came out and just completely dominated, and it just got what we deserved in that. But yeah, it wasn't all plain sailing. A bit like your round 3, that wasn't as easy as And I was doing our preview on our show. I thought, wow, yeah, 2-1 against Chesterfield. Like that must have been a pretty scary moment. And I got 95th minute winner. Sorry, wasn't it at the end? But yeah, we deserved to win the game. We completely dominated them in the second half, but it's just we have those spells where we can't seem to have a total 90-minute performance. We do kind of like drop off, and it's usually the first half we just kind of like pace ourselves. Second half we go all guns blazing, although it was reversed on against Swansea last weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, so was Swansea that 90-minute performance that you've been waiting for all season?
Not at all, because we were 3-1 up in the first half, and then we ended up winning the game 3-1. The second half we were terrible. There was a point where I thought Swansea could get a point out of this. We were that bad. I mean, the first half was so good. It was Russell Martin said it was one of the best he's ever seen as a coach. I thought it was brilliant. That first half was excellent against Swansea, the best I've seen. And then the second half, just dropped off, let them back in the game, and but we still managed to hang on for it. Yeah, we hung on in the end. It was that's what it was like.
Oh, wow, fair play to you. So, with you coming to Vicarage Road this weekend, is the focus purely on the league, and maybe Russell Martin might look at this as an opportunity to maybe rest a few players, or do you think that he's going to have eyes on the FA Cup as well to try and get you as far as you can in the competition?
I mean, I guess we're both in the similar sort of boat. So I'm guessing Watford feel like they can make the playoffs and really, really give it a go, and might take their eye off the ball in the FA Cup. I mean, I love the FA Cup. I would love a deep cup run, but again, not at the expense of our league form. I don't know. I mean, if you look at, no disrespect to Walsall, he was going to change a lot, take a lot of big players out, but he's already hinted at some changes. But there's no midweek game. We play Rotherham next week away. So we've got another week off. I think he'll keep a core of starters, and then he'll bring on some youngsters as well. I hope that Russell Martin wants to go for both and really give it a good old go. But let's face it, we're not going to win the FA Cup. So I mean, how far can we possibly realistically go? I mean, got knocked out by Grimsby last year, so.
Well, you got a decent following coming this weekend as well. You sold out within a few hours, really. So, and that's what I've been impressed with this season as well. The following from Southampton's been absolutely incredible, hasn't it?
It's sell out everywhere at the moment. It's but that's down to the form, isn't it? I mean, last season you could see that it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as high. Sorry. Obviously, finishing bottom of the Premier League would do that. The fans are just, not happy to travel in a midweek. But yeah, I mean, Watford's not that far to go, is it? So yeah, I think it was just over 4,000 we sold.
Yeah, 4,000. You got the whole stand away from home, away for the goal. Sorry, so yeah, it's going to be a decent backing. Chesterfield had exactly the same, and they sold it all out and made a good noise.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 4,000 fans travelled down, and that was a noisy bunch as well. So,
brilliant.
I felt sorry for him when we scored that 95th minute goal. Obviously, you want your team to win in that, but you kind of felt for him a little bit. Non-league Chesterfield hanging on, and then we got 2 goals in about 7 minutes to just kill the dream for them. But like you, absolutely love the FA Cup. But we've been got to the FA Cup final twice now and lost on both occasions. So I'd love to go that one step further, because Watford are probably one of the only teams in the country that haven't actually got major honours next to their name. And we get reminded all the time by our neighbours up the M1 who won the league
of
back.
course. Yeah.
Have you got one? Is it?
We got one in 1976. Yeah, we were in the second division at the time when we beat Man United. So it was a real shock. One of the biggest shocks in FA Cup. It was brilliant. Actually, I remember we played Watford in an FA Cup semi-final in 2003. That's the year that we got to the final and lost to Arsenal. But yeah, I was at
Villa
that
Park, wasn't it?
At Villa Park. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, that was good. That was a good day out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then you went on to play Arsenal in. Yeah, thanks for that. Went on to play Arsenal, and was that at the Millennium Stadium?
That was Cardiff. That's right. Yeah, we got beat 1-0 and Robert Pires, I believe. But yeah, that was a great year.
Yeah, so well, at least you didn't lose 6-0 in the final like we did to Manchester City a few years back.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I mean, the whole country was cheering on Watford then. So apart from obviously Man City fans, but no, it was that was a heavy one. One day, maybe.
It was a fantastic day out, and maybe who knows? We feel like we've had our Wembley moment anyway, because already with coming from 2-0 down against Wolves in the semi-final to come back to win 3-2. But honestly, seeing like your team win at Wembley, it's the best feeling ever, and especially those circumstances. But we'll move on to Watford and Southampton already facing each other. What did you make of that 1-1 draw back in December?
It wasn't the best of games, if I remember. I mean, 1-1, wasn't it? Shay Adams scored. It wasn't that long ago, really, was it? 96th minute equaliser, wasn't it? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Is it Reece Healy? Was it who scored?
Yeah.
Equaliser? Yeah. But I mean, I think if I recall as well, you caused us a lot of problems from set pieces that day. And you had a go at us, and I think you played us well the whole game. And I remember Bazunu being pretty busy, so you had a few shots. And I mean, I think we like everyone we played this season. We've had the possession stats, we've had the passes, the touches, but I think you took more shots than us and had more on target in that game. So I think you really did have a go at us. And I know you scored in the 96th minute, and it's a harsh way to lose points, but on the balance of things, I think Watford probably deserved a draw in that, because we weren't at our best at that point. So I say during this run, we have had games like that where we've dipped a little bit, and that was probably, that was one of them. Yeah,
we was actually really encouraged after that performance as well, because I think it was a bit of a turning point in our season in December as well, and turning up against Southampton, who's obviously been on an incredible run, and to put in a performance like that. And this is what we're seeing with Watford this season. They've rescued one of the most amount of points from losing positions this season, and always scoring in the last 5-10 minutes. So it just shows how well the mentality and the fitness is in the squad at the moment. So it's a never die attitude. So we was really impressed with that performance. One question that what fans
finally happy with your manager? Are you finally?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you finally happy with a manager now? Are you going to settle on one manager? And
so this is it. We got sick and tired of the whole managerial changes and having to justify it every time someone at work would say, "Oh, you changed your manager again," every 3 months. And you know what? Watford fans are buying into a project now, and we want our Val to be given time. And he's changed so much in a short space of time, and it seems weird to say that he's actually being backed, but from everything we've seen, the owners are fully behind him, and they're loving what he's doing. And if the fans are on side as well, I think he's got something good going. He's got rid of so much deadwood. I think we overturned maybe 20 players out in the summer.
Wow.
Brought in lots of new players. We've gone back to people who was out on loan.
You got Emmanuel Dennis today as well, so
that's massiff for Watford. I was saying earlier to a couple of people, I think he could be the difference to whether we make the playoffs or just miss out. If he comes back and performs like he did in that first part of the season when we was in the Premier League and he got 10 goals, I think he gives us a massive chance now. So it'd be interesting to see how we get on with Emmanuel Dennis. He is eligible to play you guys at the weekend.
Of course he is. Yeah, he's going to score, isn't he?
We hope so. But one question many Watford fans will probably want me to ask you, because you're on tonight. We want to know, has Stuart Armstrong actually left the pitch now? Because that was one thing we took away from the Southampton game was the last 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I remember
The
that. Yeah.
play was slowing down a bit. And I think Stuart Armstrong picked up a yellow card for taking, I think, the slowest walk I've ever seen from an opposition player to leave a pitch. And he got a lot of stick afterwards. So, yeah, we just wanted to know if Stuart Armstrong's okay and if he has actually left Vicarage Road yet.
Yeah, he's going to score against you now that you've said that. Oh, I love Stu. He's brilliant. No, to be fair, we don't do that. We never resort to the dark arts like that. It's just it's not in our. I mean, we see it all the time at St Mary's, and when players do it to us, and everyone's up, and they're just like, get him off. And when you see it for your own players do it, it's kind of like, oh, it's a bit cheeky, but they know what they're doing, don't they? I mean, everybody does it. So yeah, I love you, Stu.
We took it off as a compliment, really, because obviously you had to like try and slow down time and that, because obviously what you were saying, what we were building the pressure, we had good opportunities, and it was taking a sting out of the play a little bit. So it was a bit of a compliment for like a mid-table team playing against a team fighting for promotion, that they had to resort to that. But that, like you say, this is what happens in football, and teams do it to take the sting out of the game, don't they?
I'd easily take a yellow card for that. It's just taking one for the team, isn't it? Anybody would have done the same thing at that point.
Yeah, no, definitely. So turning attention to Southampton again, who would Watford probably have to be careful of? Like, who's the danger man? Who's that one key player that is the most fretful?
Well, that player that you got up there, I think, is one that you got to watch. Shay Adams, he's scoring some goals at the moment. He's back in form. 5 goals in the last 6 games, I believe, or something like that. So yeah, and he scored on his last 2 visits to Vicarage Road as well. So I'd watch out for that. And then obviously you got Adam Armstrong, who's 14 goals, 11 assists this season. Incredible considering what we got last year. It's just a complete championship player, that guy. Just seems to be able to do it in the championship, but in the Premier League not so much. Ryan Fraser, since Suleimana's gone out injured and Samuel Edozie, he stepped up big time, and he was doing this super sub role, but now he's starting, and he's scoring a lot of goals lately as well, and I'd watch out for him.
Yeah, I've seen he scored quite a few goals this season. I think that was a really shrewd bit of business as well, to get someone in with really good championship experience and Premier League experience as well. And he ticks all the boxes, doesn't he? He works hard. I hate playing against Ryan Fraser. He was a horrible ball to play against when he was at Bournemouth as well. And you need those kind of characters in your team.
Well, I mean, when we had Suleimana, you'd have like 70 minutes of Suleimana just running at right backs and causing problems, and then he'd take Suleimana off and bring Ryan Fraser on, and you get the last 20 minutes of Ryan Fraser doing the same thing. So it's been difficult for right backs this season. Both of them have been great, but now that he's starting, he's just been great. And by all accounts, he loves it here. He's not in the best of terms with Eddie Howe, so going back to Newcastle's probably not on the agenda. And I like to think that he can keep this. We can get him on a permanent. And even if we don't get promoted, I'd like to think that he would stay on, because he seems to love it down here. Obviously playing with Bournemouth as well. He loves a bit of the South Coast. So
yeah, it seems like it. With Shay Adams, is he out of contract at the end of the season?
Yeah, there's a lot of we've been doing a lot of Shay Adams talk throughout our podcasts, that he hasn't signed that new contract. He was offered one in the summer, still hasn't signed. It's kind of like the whole situation with Danny Ings as well. He was coming to the end of his contract, and the board had said, yeah, don't worry, he will sign, and then he goes to Aston Villa. I think Shay Adams wants to play in the Premier League. I think he's a Premier League player, but I don't want to lose him for free. So if anyone comes in for him now, I think they will take it. If the money's good, then Saints will take it. And if he wanted to be here, he would have signed that deal. But I mean, I'd like to think that if we can get promoted, then he would sign that deal as soon as we go up, if we go up. But yeah, it's all up in the air at the moment. Is
there a team sniffing around him at the moment then?
There have been. There was a number of times, like Crystal Palace, Everton, Burnley. But this was all in the summer as well, and it's kind of just dies down a little bit. I think Everton were around him as well, and Wolves, another one. But there's not been anything concrete in January, which is a surprise.
Okay. It's not been silly then by banging in the goals leading up to the January transfer window, trying and putting him back in there.
That's exactly what our a guy said on the podcast. They said that, whenever there's a transfer window, Shay Adams starts banging in the goals and putting himself in the shop window. So, I would not be surprised, honestly.
Oh, brilliant. And with Adam Armstrong as well, you listed him as a threat as well. I was really surprised to see that he was actually given the captain's armband at the start of the season. How did that all come about?
Well, James Ward-Prowse was obviously the captain, and obviously we sold him to West Ham.
Yeah.
And then Jack Stevens was appointed the captain. He went in. He got down injured in August, and I think part of this whole Shay Adams new deal is they offered him the captain's armband. If he signs this new deal, he'll be the captain when Jack Stevens isn't playing. Obviously, he didn't sign that deal, and then all of a sudden, Adam Armstrong gets the band. And it's like, that's not expected. And obviously, Jay's had to be a bench player for most parts of the season. And now that he's, as you say, now the window's approaching, he started to play again, started to score some goals. But Adam Armstrong is the stand-in captain at the moment, obviously. But Jack Stevens is now back, but he can't get in the team because Harwood Bellis and Jan Bednarek are playing so well at the back there.
What was going to ask? Where can Watford exploit this weekend? Like, where's your weaknesses in this side?
We don't have any.
If there is one. 21 games unbeaten.
That we can't. I mean, the blueprint to beat us is what you did at Vicarage Road in December. Because we're such a possession-based team, it can go wrong because we do like to play out from the back. So pressing us up high and forcing those mistakes. I mean, we've seen that a bunch of times this season. I mean, Gavin Bazzoon, who's had some misplaced passes. Jack Stevens he had one last week, actually. Just when we try and build out the back, if you get a team that presses up high, forces us to rush things a little bit more than we want to, that you could have some joy with that because we have conceded a few goals like that. And like I said before, we have these spells in the game where we start to dominate, and then all of a sudden the concentration levels dip, and then we just go for 20 minutes where we can't get anything right. So those are the times that you need to strike. And I think you catch us on the break. You can get us on the break because we like to commit so many men forward. And if you've got some speedy wingers, then I'm guessing you could really do some damage if you're in top form. So there's 3 ways that you could beat us there.
Perfect. Well, we didn't really have too much pace in this side until this morning when we signed Emmanuel Dennis. So hopefully he'll be the guy that will unlock the Southampton's defence. I'm not too sure whether he scored against Southampton in the Premier League. I don't think he did.
The last time you were at St Mary's in the Premier League, I think it was Cuco Hernandez who scored twice. You beat us 2-1, I remember. That was a terrible, terrible game. I think that was the year that you got relegated and Saints stayed up just about. But
we're talking about previous games. Have you got any memories or favourite memories of Watford playing Southampton? I imagine that FA Cup semi-final is going to be high up there.
That's probably the one that I think of the most. I think there was an FA Cup game a couple of years ago in the 4th round that we played you, if I remember. I think that was I don't think that was a very good game, though. I can't remember who scored. I want to say 2017, 18. That was FA Cup 4th round, I'm pretty sure. I think games between Watford and Saints have been quite cagey. I think they're all there's never more than a goal in it, from what I remember. There's always a swing here or there. It's never. I can't ever remember giving Watford a thrashing. I don't think that's going to change.
The one that's just still is record Shane Lon's got as well, scoring the fastest goal in the Premier League.
That was 1-1 though. That game that finished 1-1. And I think you scored at the end. We scored at the beginning. You scored at the end. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
fantastic to have a record against Watford as well. The one that sticks out for me, like you say, there's been lots of tight games as well. I quite like the one where we went to St Mary's and won 2-0. I think it was 2007, and Abdoulaye Doucouré and Dawi Yamat scored for Watford, and it was under Marco Silva, I think. And it was just when things things were starting to click under him as well. And I think we was in the top 4 for the first like 6-7 weeks of the season. But that was a massive high for me. So what would your score prediction be for this weekend?
You know, we did our Watford preview last Sunday, and I actually predicted Watford to win because it's the FA Cup. There's going to be some changes. We might take our eye off the ball. You've now got Emmanuel Dennis playing. It's these sorts of games that I don't like. They're banana skins. It's all those teams and around, like I said before, like mid-table to the 5th place, like your West Broms, your Coventrys, your Hulls, your Norwich, Watford. Those are the games that if we are going to slip up, it's going to be against one of those teams. And I think, all it takes is for a couple of youngsters to be playing and just keep our eye off the ball a little bit, concentrate more on the league. And if we're going to, this run is going to end soon. And if it's going to end, it's going to end at somewhere like Watford. So I think I did predict a 2-1 Watford. I think I will probably do the same. Yeah, I think Watford are going to edge this one 2-1.
And you'd rather it, your unbeaten run end in the FA Cup, ban the league, so then you can carry on that 20-game unbeaten run in the league as well. Because that's the priority this season, isn't it? It's obviously getting back into a promised land of a Premier League. So I think, you would probably take a defeat if that guarantees maybe promotion for this season. So I think it'll be an interesting game this weekend. I think it'll be 2 competitive teams. I think both teams will probably play strong sides. I don't think there'll be many changes on the Watford area. Obviously, Emmanuel Dennis will probably walk straight back into this lineup because our strikers, I don't know whether you look at the Watford team and see that our top goal scorer is Rajovic on 9 and is a striker, but honestly, he offers absolutely nothing to this team, and he's just been in the right place at the right time and scored from 6 yards about 8 times this season with tap-ins.
Gary Lineker made a career on that, so
this is it. It's just a bit frustrating. Honestly, there was one stat that floated around the other week. We played Rotherham at home, won 5-0. He scored 2. He completed 1 pass in the whole first half and scored 2 goals.
Wow. I don't even know how you go to judge players like that. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know where you stand with them. It's like you want them to do more, but they're still putting the ball in the back of the net. So,
this is it. And it's like when he scores, you appreciate him because he's in the right place at the right time. But when he doesn't score, it's like playing with 10 men because he doesn't hold the ball up. It's so slow. It's a bit frustrating. And I think he scored a few braces this season. So when he doesn't score, it's very noticeable. And you're like, oh, come on, just get someone else on the pitch to help us out because it is a bit frustrating. But
I don't remember him playing in that December game. Maybe he didn't play. I don't know. Maybe he did. This is the thing. I don't remember him in the team.
This is it. Yeah, you wouldn't have noticed because he didn't score. I think he had a really good chance in the first half. It was a ball over the top, and he should have done a lot better with it. But
I do remember that. Actually, it was a set piece, wasn't it? The free kick come in, and he could have just put. I do. Oh, but that was right.
Diagonal ball into the box, and I think he just mistimed his run or something, and it just got away from him. But he's a little frustrating. So you'll find lots of Watford fans that aren't very particularly happy with him, even though he's our top goal scorer with 9 goals.
What do you make of the young lad? That's Asprilla. What sort of a player is he?
Yes, sir. Spree is brilliant. He's the next gem that we've found from South America. We've obviously had Richarlison. He's gone on to play in the World Cup and score in the World Cup. Now it's Spurs. And João Pedro is by far the best youngster or player I've ever seen in a Watford shirt, who's currently the Europa League top goal scorer. And Yasser Asprilla is the next one on the conveyor belt. He's so talented. He's a little lightweight still. He still looks like he needs to put on a few pounds to try and bulk up and be a bit stronger on the ball, but his vision is unbelievable, and he's got a good goal in him as well. Decision making might be a bit off sometimes, but he's only like 20 years old, and
that will come.
Doesn't speak much English, so he's getting better with game by game. But he is quality. He's probably one of our best technically our best gifted player.
Yeah, the game in December, he forced a good save out of Gavin Bazunu. I think he had a left foot volley, which was down low. Technique,
yeah, that was it.
Spot on. And I thought, wow, this kid looks like a right handful. So yeah.
He's the next one to make lots of money for the Pozzo families. I think we could easily get 10 million plus for him. I'd like to keep hold of him for a little bit longer.
Is he a right winger?
He tends to play. Yeah, he tends to play on the right. He can play on his left as well. He's very direct as well, and he loves a diagonal ball. He links up well with the fullbacks as well. So there's always lots of carnage down the sides. And then on the other side, we've got Mateus Martin, the Brazilian, who looks a bit like Pat Butcher with the bleached blonde hair. He's quality as well. He's not as consistent as Yasser, but yeah, he's another flair player we've got into the side. But Ismail Kone's impressed a lot of Watford fans. He's a young, I think, 21-year-old Canadian international. He's scored a few worldies this season. So this is it. We've got lots of youngsters in the side now, but holding it all together is the experienced head of Jake Livermore, who, when we signed him at the start of the season, we was like, why are we signing a 34-year-old Jake Livermore? We don't need him. His legs are gone. He's honestly been Watford's player of the season. He's been unreal.
Yeah, he's been scoring some goals as well, hasn't he? I've noticed.
Yeah. Did you see his brace at QPR?
Yeah, that's it. Recently, you just won 2-1, didn't you? Yeah, and I did. Yeah.
No, it's been very impressive. But before we let you go, Ray, thank you for coming on. Do really appreciate it. We do tend to play a little game before we let you go, and it's called Played for Both. So we ask all the opposition fans who come on, can you name players that have represented both Watford and Southampton? I've had a little bit of a look into this, and I've found 9 players that have represented both. This goes back to maybe the early 2000s. I found one in the late 90s as well. And we do have a league table as well. And the highest fan has got 8 so far. And that was QPR. But then again, we've had lots of transfers with QPR. So he had a pool of about 30 players to pick from, whereas you've probably only got 9 players to pick from. So it's a little bit more difficult for you.
Do you know what?
Any players come to mind?
We do this thing on our Instagram page, actually, where we do wherever we're playing, we do a day where we put out whoever we're playing. So it's Watford. We put out something a little bit closer to who's played for both. So I do have a little bit of knowledge of who's done. So I will say that.
Good.
Obviously, you've got your man Wesley Hoot.
What do you make of Wesley Hoot as well? Because he got a lot of stick from Southampton fans when you travelled up in December.
Yeah, no, he's not well liked down here. You know, he cost us like 15 odd million quid, and I think when we signed him, he was only like 21, 22, and I think our chairman at the time said that he's going to be one of the best, most promising youngsters in the whole of Europe. And yeah, it was just turned out to be an expensive mistake. We let him go out on loan 3 or 4 times in his time here, and he just couldn't find a buyer. And I think he went back to Lazio in the end, or Anderlecht, and then you picked him up. And I have to admit, I was pretty surprised with that. But yeah, he's not a flavour of the month down at Southampton. Yeah,
we've picked him up for about €2 million from Anderlecht, and to be fair, he's been very consistent as well. He's done really well. He's been rocking the defence. I think he's without a shadow of a doubt, our best central defender. I think when we signed him, I got in touch with a Southampton fanzine, and they said that his biggest issue was he would always mess about with the ball on the edge of a penalty box, and it cost you so many goals. He hasn't really done that at Watford, so I think he's kind of learnt from his mistakes a little bit. He's a bit of a shithouse as well, which I absolutely love. And he scored from a halfway line this season as well.
Has he? Oh, yes, I did remember. We talked about that on the show as well. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
he actually tried it last weekend against Bristol City as well, but it was about 20 yards away from the goal. So he does have an eye on if the goalkeeper's outside of the box. But yeah, he's been another consistent one this season. So yeah, Wesley Hoot won.
Paul Jones played for you for a bit, I think, the goalkeeper.
Yes, he did.
Kevin Phillips back in the day.
Yeah,
He played. I mean, he's played for everyone though.
Every championship side.
Yeah, it's me. Chris Baird.
Yeah,
He
that's
played
4.
for what? Raziak, Gregos Raziak.
5. Yeah, big pole.
Yeah, he was great for us. A couple of seasons he was banging in the goal. Oh, Jack Cork. Love Jack Cork.
Yeah. 6, yeah.
Goodness me. I said Paul Jones, didn't I? Is there any more? Neil Shipley. Can I have Nigel Pearson as a manager?
I can't give you Nigel Pearson, unfortunately. If they're represented in the youth system, I will allow, and maybe not played for their first team. I don't know if that gives you a bit of a clue.
Callum Davenport, did he play for Watford?
Davenport did play for Watford as well, so that's 7.
Oh wow. Fitzhall. Yes.
8. You're tied top. I can't believe this.
God, one more. Come on. Is there any more?
I've got one more, but it's a player that's represented an academy and then gone on to play for the other first team at the other side.
Christ.
And you will kick yourself.
Oh no, don't say that. Oh no. Oh God.
I'm just going to have a look to see about Neil Shipley as well. I don't know if he did or not. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that could be your 9.
God, but Fitzhall, Jack Hawk. My goodness me. David Connolly. I know he played for Watford.
That's one I haven't got.
He
Neil
did play
Shipley did represent Watford. He played 6 games. You're up to 10. You're 2 clear.
Well, there we
Double
go.
figures, everybody. Double figures from Ray.
There we go. Who was the one that you didn't have? The one that I didn't have, rather.
You happy with your 10? Sticking with your 10?
I don't think I'm going to get any more than that. I really don't.
That's brilliant. Well, good, bloody good going. The one that you probably will kick. He's currently playing for Watford. He's our fullback. He played for Southampton's academy. I think he played in the FA Youth Cup for you guys. James Morris.
Yeah. Yes. Oh God, he didn't play for Saints, did he? Never actually. Yeah, he never got on the field.
Yeah. He represented your academy and played in the FA Youth Cup, I think. And then I think he was released when he was 18, and then he's just been an understudy at left back. But it's been okay when he's been called upon. I think he's played 26 games now in the Championship, so he's building up that experience. But yeah, bloody good going out, Ray.
Wow,
10.
I don't know.
I wasn't expecting that.
Like I said, I mean, we only played them in December, so I did a thing about them then. So I was just trying to remember them, but I don't think we got to 10 at that point. But yeah, it's all Wesley Hoot.
Well, I'll be amending that graphic later on and putting you top of the board, and then once we finish the season, I will let you know if you've won.
That would be amazing, because I mean, Saints being top of the league for anything, I mean, it seems so far away. So I'm going to take that. So yeah,
let's see. You might be on for a double this season, league and the Voices of Vic played for both.
Well, that's the most important thing.
Fantastic. Well, like I said earlier, Ray, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I do really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for watching tonight. If you have liked the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be back Sunday for a review of the FA Cup 4th round tie with Southampton. Come on, you Orns.